Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to welcome you to Healthy Living Together. I'm Louise Blasius, the Director of Human Services for McKenzie Health System, and a devoted fan of our Healthy Living programs. We have been doing this for several years in a row now, and this year, because of COVID, we have had to have gone virtual, and we're still happy to be able to bring you these programs. At the bottom of your screen, you will see a question and answer box. Please write in your questions that you may have, and I'll be sure to ask them and introduce our speakers along the way as well. Today, we have three fantastic community members joining us today. We have Sam Musso, paramedic with our Sanilac ambulance. We have Tammy Catt, the manager of our Sanilac ambulance. And then joining us from the Sanilac County Emergency Medical Services is their director, Leah Lentz. If each of you would like to say hello, I'm happy for that.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sam Musso.
Leah?
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Leah Lentz from Sanilac Medical Control.
And Tammy? Okay, Tammy, you do need to unmute, but we are able to proceed. Our first speaker today is our paramedic, Sam Musso, and he's going to talk about heat emergencies and fireworks safety. So at this time, I'm very happy to turn our program over to Sam.
Good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Sam Musso. I am a paramedic with Sanilac EMS and also a community paramedic with the new program that we're going to talk about at the end. Today, I would like to talk to you about a few things that is near and dear to my heart with the upcoming weather changes that we're getting warmer by the day, is heat emergencies. And the two specific ones that I want to talk about today is heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Now, we all know that these two things come up throughout the summer. People get very hot, they start sweating. And then when they stop sweating is when it becomes a really big danger. Some of the signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion is profuse sweating head to toe. You can get cramping, muscle cramps, get pale, ashen skin, just feel like you're really tired, that you just can't go on through the day. You need to go take a nap. That's when your body is actually working the best. It's actually putting the salt and the fluid onto your skin, and it's causing your body to have a cooling effect. When you get to a heat stroke, it's when the body has no longer been able to maintain that homeostasis, that equilibrium of our body's temperature. So heat exhaustion is simply get them into a cooler environment. Put them into cool water, put them into shade, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Drink plenty of liquids. Your Gatorade and your power aids with some electrolytes in it is really good to replenish some of your body, but more so is just to get them into a cool environment. Heat stroke on the other side of things is a little more serious. It's when the body temperature has reached greater than 103 degrees. The body has stopped sweating. It's no longer able to cool itself. So that is a true emergency. And although you can call 911 for both of these and EMS will come and gladly take care of them, heat stroke is definitely one of the more serious ones because that can lead to organ failure and death. So we want to make sure that we get them into that cool environment, call 911 and get the EMS there, and we'll start fluids right away and start core temperature, bringing them back to normal by putting ice packs in. Some of the other things that you might want to have around the house, if you've got a lot of family outdoors, is a bottle of rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol is great by putting it onto a rag and wiping it onto the body because it allows the air to cool the body rapidly. Some of the other things you can do is wrap them in wet towels, soak towels in cold water and wrap them around their necks, put them in their armpits, and that will actually help to cool too. So again, just to recap on the two, heat exhaustion, they're still sweating, the body's still doing what it's supposed to cool. Heat stroke is when the body's no longer able to do it, and definitely they need to seek medical attention. We'll stick around as long as I can to answer any questions about either one of them, but that's kind of a summary about both of them. The next thing that I wanted to talk about with the upcoming holiday coming up, you all know 4th of July, there's always these big crackles and booms in the sky. And every year, we in the EMS field, we cringe when the holidays come around because we always know there's always that one person or two that like to do things outside the safety zone. So whenever you're dealing with fireworks, please, please, please have adult supervision nearby. Read the instructions of the fireworks. Back a few years ago, Michigan came out with the new law that it's no longer just the fountain sparklies that are blowing up. It's actually mortars that go up into the sky 100 and 200 feet and blow sparks. If one of them mortars actually discharge on the ground level, they can do some serious damage and actually cause death. It's a live explosion on the ground. So we need to be really, really cautious with this stuff. Never allow children to do fireworks by themselves. Always have adult supervision. Never use fireworks while drinking alcohol. That just is a bad juju all around. Also, we want to make sure that we're away from people and that we have our mortars secured. Make sure that they are secured so when the firework blows off, the mortar stays put. We've had a few instances in the past where the mortar has tipped sideways and actually shot the firework at somebody and hit them, causing 2nd and 3rd degree burns. It's not a good night. It's no longer a party when something like that happens. So please, please, please be cautious. And always have some type of extinguishment, whether it be a garden hose, a pail full of water. Make sure that before you throw all these things in the garbage, you soak them in water, put them in water. That way you're sure that that mortar is completely cooled down and will not cause a fire. You don't want the garbage man picking up your garbage and then going down the road and his truck catches on fire. That's not a good day either. So please make sure that you handle all fireworks according to the manufacturer's suggestions. And never use the illegal stuff. I know everybody likes the big booms and the big crackles and everything, but stick to the stuff that they sell legally in the stores like Walmart, Myers, or anywhere. Stick to that stuff. Don't bring the big booms in. Let the pyrotechnics guy do that. There's a lot of fireworks displays throughout the county during the 4th of July holiday. There's one coming up this weekend in Brown City. Them guys are professionals. They have licenses and insurances, and they are governed by the state. They make sure that the big ones that go off are safe and everybody maintains safety. So I hope with this brief explanation, you understand the heat emergencies a little bit and you know where to look for. Remember, if they stop sweating, it's a really serious condition and you need to call 911 because that's getting into the heat stroke and it causes damage. And then of course, fireworks safety. I will be sticking around for a little while as much as I can. I have a couple other appointments. I thank you for the opportunity to come on and talk to you and look forward to your comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sam. At this time, we don't have any questions for you, but participants, please submit them in the question and answer box at the bottom of your screen as they develop. And I know personally, I worry for our pets with those loud fireworks too. That's a concern. At this time, though, I'm thrilled to call upon Leah Lenz, who is the manager of the Sanilac Emergency Medical Response. And Leah, please.
Yeah. Well, I do actually have a PowerPoint, so can I share that with you?
Please.
Okay. Just let me know when you're ready.
We're ready when you are.
Well, I don't have the ability right now. Oh, now I do. Yep. Thank you. Okay, hold on. Let me get that bigger here. All right. All right, can everybody see that?
Beautifully.
All right. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about water safety and keeping safe in and around waters. Okay, so that when I'm talking about water, I know that's pretty general. So let's kind of narrow down what we would be talking about. So I am talking about staying safe around pools. That there would be a pond. We know that we're only a few miles away from our wonderful, beautiful Great Lakes, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. We're talking rivers. We have a Cass River that's quite large that runs through our area. We're talking about any type of body of water. This here is another type of a river. And even these little small blow up pools for infants, you've got to be very careful. You always want to keep your hand or your eyes on that child. And when I'm talking about just observing them, I mean, you're not on your phone, you're not talking to other people. When they're in, especially small children, like under the age of like 4, you really want to be watching them all the time, not distracted watching. And then even these pretty little ponds that we put out, I myself have one. It's a 50 gallon. I can't tell you how much this one is, but that's still a body of water that to a child can be quite dangerous. And then a lot of people don't think, but you do have tubs. And when you're talking little ones, like under the age of 1, the ones that, especially the ones that can't sit up good. I know everybody here, if you've had kids, there's little devices you can get where you could set them right up in there and you don't have to hold them and they can play around in the water. But that is not a safety device. That is just more of something that you have to be watching them if you're going to use that kind of stuff. And then even a bucket or a gallon, or not a gallon, but like even a 5-gallon pail, anything like that is considered, that would be something that a kid could drown in. And we really don't have many water parks out our way, but there is, the closest one I think is in Frankenmuth. But you still want to be watching your children around this kind of area as well. So what do I want to outcome today as far as learning? So I want to increase the awareness of the prevalence of water injuries to children and adults, increase the ability to identify those risk factors for drowning episodes across the different age groups, increase the ability to identify other type of risk factors that influence the occurrence of drowning episodes, and practical strategies that will protect you in and around water. So that's what we're hoping to accomplish here today. So first and foremost, what is drowning? Well, drowning is a process where breathing is impaired by immersion in water, either the face or the whole body, and a loss of consciousness occurs. So there are 2 outcomes. Neither one of them both of them can be very detrimental. Of course, we got a fatal drowning, which is death, but even non-fatal drownings where they survive does not always have a good quality of life afterwards. It really depends on how long they've been down. So drowning, what we want to really stress is avoidable. Okay, it is totally avoidable. So I kind of based all of our statistics here that we're going to talk today about around Michigan. So in Michigan, last year, 2020, during our COVID pandemic, was the highest ever of drowning victims in the state of Michigan. With just the Great Lakes alone had 53 deaths. And that comes right from the Great Lakes Surf and Rescue Project, record high. Now, I'm sure we could probably all discuss that people, a lot of them were off of work. You know, why not hit the beach? You weren't in quarantine there. I'm sure a lot of it had something to do with that. But I really want to stress too that overall, 94 people died in the Michigan Great Lakes. And our own Lake Huron had 9 drownings in 2020. So you really want to be, you know, them are some pretty high statistics. And then what we also need to know is drowning is a leading cause of death in children. And what did we just talk about? It's avoidable. As long as you have awareness to it, you know how to prevent this sort of thing. So non-fatal drownings, like I was just talking about a few minutes ago, can result in a coma, organ damage, permanent disability. Brain death will occur in 4 to 6 minutes. And then again, it depends on the temperature of water. I'm not going to get a whole lot into that today, but that really depends on a lot of factors. And then neurological injury. All of those things are coming from lack of oxygen to the brain. So the longer they're down, the worse the outcome could be. So Safe Kids is a program that Michigan had put together, and they cover a lot of different things. So I see that they actually had a little section on water safety. So here's some of the recommendations that Safe Kids of Michigan is trying to reach out to everybody to let them know. Pools and spas. So if you have one of those, you should have a surrounding fence of 5 foot or higher with a latch that self-latches automatically. You must have anti-entrapment drain cover and safety vacuum release to prevent that child from being sucked down to the drain. So what you really might not realize is they have like where it's actually sucking, and a younger child can get stuck down into that and they won't be able to get off of that. So that you really need that in place so you don't have a drowning victim because they're down at the bottom stuck on that suction. And never leave your toy or children's toys around the water, as this could attract any unsupervised child to that area. Use a pool alarm. They really encourage to enroll children in swimming classes at around age 4, but never assume that those lessons are going to make the child drown proof, but it does help. And also remember that inflatable swimming toys such as water rings and noodles are not flotation devices and do not prevent drowning. And keep rescue equipment such as phones and emergency numbers nearby. And always supervise children during swimming, and never swim alone. Always swim with a buddy. So some of Michigan's facts here. So close to 810 people die each year from drowning. The highest drowning episodes occurred between ages 1 and 4, and then followed closely by ages 5 and 9. The WHO, which is the World Health Organization, reports that children ages 5 to 14 die more frequently from drowning than any other cause. And then home swimming pools are the most common site for children's drownings, and most of the pools even had fencing. So, and then what's really key too is nearly 80% of all people who drown are male. I don't know that they know why that is, but that is a solid statistic. So let's do a little brief review what we've learned so far. The risks do increase with the increased mobility of the child. Oh, yes, and then first 4 years of life, they are the most vulnerable for drowning episodes. And then remember, there's a difference between fatal drownings and non-fatal drownings. And what we really need to learn here today is there's no single cause to drowning, and there's no single prevention solution. All these things need to work together. So let's do a couple safety tips. Supervise child swimmers. Restrict the access to like your pools and your spas. Air-filled and foam toys are not safety devices. Very important to learn CPR. Always use the buddy system. Learn to swim. Know the local weather conditions. And for us adults, avoid alcohol before and during swimming, boating, and water skiing. And be sure to use a life jacket when boating or water skiing or kayaking. That's always a good thing to have on you. Let's see, am I running out of time yet, guys, or am I still good?
You're good.
Okay, perfect. All right, so supervise. So supervision in water means be a responsible adult all the time. All your attention, constant visual contact, be close touch supervision for under 5 so you can get right in there and pull them out. Be prepared, never leave or turn your back, even for a minute. What we found out is, you know, you see on TV and stuff, the kids will be splashing and hollering because they're drowning. That is not the case. What happens is they go under and very quietly. It's not a splashing, screaming, help me. That is not true. It is usually very, very quiet. And they'll turn your back for a minute. You're not hearing nothing, so you think that's a good thing? Absolutely not. Always be watching that child. Supervision does not mean by a child or young person, by an adult that's been drinking or under the influence of drugs, by, I'll just keep an occasional glance. I'm going to go in and prepare dinner. I'll just keep checking outside. Yeah, no. And then while you are distracted, like texting and talking, that sort of thing, not being in close proximity. Those are all do not. That is not what supervision means. Close, constant, focused. And then restrict your access. We know that we're going to put barriers around, it actually provides a physical separation. And then the child safety fences are good. We talked about that, latching at home. Let's go right on to, I'm afraid I'm running out of time. Am I running out of time, guys?
You're doing great, Leah.
Okay.
I did have one question come in.
Yep.
Does the temperature of the water, like if you're talking about the river or Lake Huron, does that have any impact on the consequences?
Yeah, I mean, right now, the water temperature in Lake Huron is in between 59, 69. I mean, it kind of varies as far as depth in that, and absolutely hypothermia can set in it really quickly in water of that degree. You can even get hypothermia in 80-degree water. It takes a little longer, but the risk is there. So absolutely, good question. And yes, it does. So say you're in that type of body of water, you can get hypothermia within 10 minutes, maybe not even that. So in order to, if that ever happens, to avoid that, you try to, if you can, if you got a flotation device, try to keep your extremities up close to the core, up like in a fetal position. So that will help maintain your core temperature. And that would help buy you a little bit of time until rescue is on the way. But that's a great question.
Thank you.
Yes. So anyway, water awareness. It's an important life skill for all. Older non-swimmers require urgent formal and informal opportunities to learn both water awareness and water skills. And then, of course, water awareness can range in strategies. Babies and toddlers using bath time with, they need to become familiar with the water. Preschoolers having fun in the water with the child and considering enrollment in a water program helps them become more familiarized with water and the ability to swim. But you really need to know so when you're watching that child, you really need to know what skills they have as far as swimming. So just don't expect they're gonna, because they're taking swimming lessons. The problem with that could be is that now they're fearless of water. And maybe they don't have their little flotation devices on. A lot of them will use them little things on their arms and they'll just jump right in. And that could really be bad. So you want to make sure that you're watching them extremely close. Because I feel like I'm running maybe a little short on time. I'm gonna go right. Okay, so in Michigan, we live near or have a good opportunity for water recreation just because we're surrounded by water. We play in and around water from a young age. While most of us learn to swim, this may not be the case to any children that are in our care. So if we are like babysitting, whatever happens to be the situation, make sure you understand what that child is capable of, but always go back to what did we talk about when we said supervision? That's what you want to refer back to. And then learning to swim involves more than competitive strokes. There's way more than that. So that is it, guys. If we have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Leah. That was very informative. And I would like to share with our participants, I think many know that I like to kayak, and I've had workshops on kayaking, and the 3 pieces of advice that have been given is always wear your life jacket. I even have a life jacket for my dog, and I've had to pick her up by the handle on the life jacket. Also, always carry a whistle because you can whistle for help. And then, if possible, have your cell phone on your person in a waterproof container. So if an emergency happens, you're able to call 911 and maybe get Sam out there to help, or who's ever available, or the Sheriff's Department Marine Rescue. At this time, I'm happy to say we're going to learn about a new service we have with our community paramedics. And Rebecca Stoliker, our Director of Nursing and EMS Director, will tell us about this new and exciting program.
Thank you, Louise. And thank you for all of that wonderful information, Leah. I did want to mention that we have always prided ourselves here on transforming how healthcare is designed and delivered and promoting access to care. And we're able to extend that ability now to our community paramedic program. We started this through a grant and we're just beginning to pilot it now. So it's not something that you've seen out there yet. We're putting our last finishing touches on it, and we're excited to get out there into the community to help improve quality of life of our community. So our community paramedic program is utilizing our community paramedics, so paramedics who have additional specific training, to provide planned or scheduled visits in the patient's home for non-emergent needs. It's overseen by Sanilac Med Control Authority, so there are other programs in the area that do the same thing or that are beginning to. But we're able to perform assessments, do some treatments and preventative care. And our goal is to collaborate with our providers to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our patients, like I said, in the home. So meeting them where they're at with what they need. And our focus as we're starting this program out is to be able to improve the management of those people in our community that have chronic conditions, early detection, prevention, and hopefully preventing hospitalizations, as crazy as that may sound, and frequent ER visits. So we find in the emergency room, maybe somebody comes in 2-3 times because they just can't get their COPD under control, and maybe they can't get into their pulmonologist soon enough, or they've seen their primary care provider but just need a little extra something in the home. So that's kind of where our focus is going to start out at, so that those people aren't spending all of their time in the emergency room, but hopefully we can help them manage that sooner, get interventions a little bit quicker, and let them continue to lead their life that they want to. So a couple of key things to remember is that our community paramedics are unable to transport patients. So you would see them rolling around in a new vehicle that's not an ambulance most all of the time, and that is because of the nature of the community paramedic. Like I said, it's not an emergent thing, it's planned scheduled visits. So likewise, you should also not call 911 if you want to see the community paramedic. If you are interested in that, though, I would just encourage you to talk to your provider at your next visit. They can put in a referral. We have some other referral sources as well, but That's going to be our main source as we're starting this up. So I'm excited. Everyone here is excited.
Becky, that is a question that has come up. How do I get community paramedic service at home?
So it would be a referral from a provider. So like I said, if you think that that might be a great program for you, you can give your provider a call or at your next visit, discuss it with them, and they can put an order in. That order will go over to our community paramedics, and they'll be scheduling visits, hopefully in close proximity to others for the same day. And we're going to roll it out a little bit slow and then gradually improve it and increase our hours as the need is there as well. We'll also be able to take referrals from the emergency department or the hospital, so that if we have an ED provider that says, geez, like I'm talking to the nurse and we've seen this patient in here 5 times in the last week, there's got to be something more we can do rather than seeing them and sending them home repeatedly. They can put a referral in as well to the provider. And then all the care that the community paramedic does in the home goes back to that provider as well. So it's just continuing that loop of care. The provider's always involved. We're able to call them and give additional information or have communications with them as needed, and can do a telehealth visit if necessary as well. So
Thank you very much. If anybody out there has another question, now is a great time to submit it. I'm also pleased to say that this program has been recorded, and Nina Barnett with our community relations will send an email out so you can refer back to this link or have your friends or family watch it another time. I'm really grateful on behalf of Healthy Living for our presenters, Sam Moso, Leah Lenz, and Rebecca Stoliker. And if each of you have a parting thought you would like to share, now is a good time for that. And I would like to thank our MSW, Master Social Work student, Kara Booms, who is interning here at McKenzie, for being our videographer. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you, and you can check this recording out on Facebook, McKenzie's YouTube rather, and hope you join us June 21st. Stay safe, be water conscious, heat conscious, watch out for heat stroke, and remember we have a new program available, Community Paramedics. Thank you.
thank you.